to East London, and as you can see in front of the regional court here, and it's going to be a very interesting day, and the noise is growing, the tension is growing, as of course we inch ever closer to the pre-sentencing hearing of the leader of the economic freedom fighters, Julius Malema, who's been convicted on 4 firearms-related charges, and of course pre-sentencing starting in a short while in the court behind me. But I am of course joined now by the EFF Deputy President, Mr. Godrich Gardee. Mr. Gardee, the EFF has always maintained that this is a politically motivated case. Do you still contend that, and why?
Good morning to you as Sakina and our viewers. As a matter of fact, here we are in a court where the version of the state is not longer in the room, in the courtroom. However, the magistrate wants to bring the version of the state through the window, and we shall see how far it goes in this groundbreaking case, which actually is unprecedented in South Africa, and nobody has ever been found guilty, and there is no case law in such a case of today here at East London, but we'll see how far it goes.
And just explain to us what you mean by that when you say the version of the state is no longer in the room. What do you mean by that?
The alleged instrument of crime has been given back to the owner of the alleged owner of the instrument of crime, and it's no longer in court. The alleged gun that is alleged to have been fired is actually with the owner in Durban. So ordinarily it should have been seized because it is an instrument of crime. Absent the owner and absent the gun itself, why are we in court? Therefore, it means only the version of the accused with the version of a toy gun shall stand in court.
Speaking of, so you say the gun is back in the possession of the owner. What gun is it? Is it an automatic rifle, a semi-automatic rifle? Is it a toy gun? What is it?
Well, they allege that it is a gun that was fired at the stadium, and the accused has alleged that he was using a toy gun. So what is said to be a real gun has been given to the owner, has not been seized by the state as an instrument of crime, and has been given to the licensed owner in Durban. It is no longer in the courtroom.
As a legal eagle yourself, how are you expecting the proceedings to play out here today?
Well, we expect the social worker report to be read in court on record, and then there might be likely a cross-examination of the social worker by the prosecution, and there might also be a re-examination of the social worker by the legal team of the EFF, and then we'll see what the magistrate will do about it. Maybe she may stand it down for a reserved order of sentencing. Alternatively, the state may say, well, it's the first time we hear about this report. We want to go home and think about it on how we will cross-examine, and then they may even take us for the 31st of March or end of February and so on. We have got a long way to go. Remember, we have got the road to the High Court, which is very automatic from any judgment of the magistrate court. We have got a road to the Supreme Court of Appeal to Bloemfontein, and we still have to go to Braamfontein up there at the Constitutional Court. So 15 years, people must chill, those who were actually warming up, and too bad for AfriForum. That's why we've got a T-shirt written proper words towards the AfriForum. You want to see it?
I'll have to check first to see if, well, you know, it's a family show. It's early in the morning, so yes. We don't necessarily want to upset sensitive viewers, and of course we've got a code of conduct by which we need to comply. But I must say, I've seen so many people come out here in support of Julius Malema. The streets were red here in East London yesterday. Why is that necessary, given that this is, you know, it's a court proceeding? Why did the EFF feel the need to have all of these people come out in support of Mr. Malema?
Our people and members of the economic freedom fighters have realized that this is not about a criminal prosecution. This is a political persecution, because nowhere in South Africa has ever been done what has been done to a political leader of the most vibrant organization like the EFF. There's nothing called a discharging of a firearm in public. Here we're talking about a celebratory mood with a toy gun. And so what? Because the real gun has been taken back to Durban. Therefore, our version stands.
All right. And of course, it's not just people from South Africa here. You know, we've tried to gather as many people as we can. And of course, I bumped into the gentleman next to me in a hotel yesterday, and he told me he was from Namibia. Pudemo is also here. So just introduce your guests to us before I speak to them.
He's the president of the Economic Freedom Fighters in Namibia and a member of parliament in the National Assembly of the Republic of Namibia, and President Makanya of the UDM in Eswatini. They are
Right.
welcome.
And I want to hear from them. You know, you've come all this way. I think, Mr. Makanya, you are a resident here, as far as I know. But, you know, from all the way from Namibia to actually come and support Julius Malema, why?
No, we support Julius Malema. Is a reader, not a reader for EFF in South Africa, but the reader. We're having a lot of branch of EFF in Africa and African diaspora. So there's a lot of people, what you say firstly, that there's a lot of people coming from different countries. We're coming to support Julius Malema. We want to make sure that this Court of Justice, if there are justice in our hand or in AfriForum hand.
Pudemo?
We are here to support the president, the CIC Julius Malema, because as a Pan-Africanist, President Malema has always supported struggles of the people of the continent and the people of the world, including our struggle in Swaziland. But also we are here to support the economic freedom fighters, because our understanding as Pudemo is that it is not just the president of the economic freedom fighters who's in the docket, it is the party itself. But most importantly, we're also here to support the revolution as represented by the values of the economic freedom fighters, by President Malema, and all of us who believe, because this it's a case against what we stand for. We are fighting against an establishment. The fact that President Malema was discussed at the White House tells us that indeed the people who are primarily offended here, it is the establishment, and AfriForum and all its sympathizers and supporters are just local representatives of the establishment. So this is a case against the establishment, and President Malema remains the face of the fight of Africans for the return of the land, of the resources, of sovereignty, and of autonomy. And this is what this revolution is about, and this is what this matter is about, and remain unshaken on that issue.
Mr. Makanya, thanks so much. And this is, of course, Pudemo, EFF Namibia, and Godrich Gardee, the Deputy President of the EFF. And just looking around, so many people here. And I picked this one out in the crowd here. You will remember him, erstwhile colleague, Professor J.J. Tabane. What are you doing here?
Well, as editor of two magazines, I have to keep up with what is going on. This is a big seminal political moment, but also a big legal moment. The interaction or intersection between the two things. You know, are our courts, you know, being used as political football? Do our courts have a capacity, right, to close out all the political noise and just focus on the law? And for me, that's what I want to observe today. And the judgment today will be a scholarly thing to dissect, you know, about whether or not it's something that can stand the test of time.
I tell you what, we'll speak to Professor J.J. Tabane a little more later on. But it is filling up here. We did see Mdantsane, who of course has been acquitted. And then you heard from Godrich Gardee, the Deputy President of the EFF, saying that the state have literally removed that part of the case. But then Julius Malema remains in the dock. So much more to come here. As we said, Mdantsane already been here. He's just left. EFF leadership starting to come in, and it's back to you in studio. We'll be back a little later on with more here from the East London Regional Court.